Okay, I think something has to be said for the addiction community and their disregard for people who are addicted to weed or marijuana. And I know it's not all people, but I have noticed a trend, and it kicked off from a video I posted on TikTok, and this young man who advised that he had been struggling with weed addiction for about 8 years, and he was 2 days sober. So a guy come in and said, weed is not addictive. And I said, well, weed definitely can be addictive. What made you say that? So he says that it's just your lack of motivation in life and your unwillingness to not put something off. I've been sober for 6 years. Weed is not addictive. That's no addiction. So I really wanted to say, fuck off, but I'm not going to make a habit of cursing people out in the comments because I want people to have a open conversation. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they can't comment. So I'm not going to do that, but I think that's pretty weenie, and he's not the first one. There have been others in the past that have commented that weed is not a real addiction and just quit. And I've been on real drugs. Blah, blah, blah. That's really not being fair. I look at it like you have two women that are in abusive marriages. You have one that's been beat for years. She's raped by her husband. He may cut her hair off. He beats the children. He's just all around the worst husband you could have. Then you have one wife who, her husband doesn't beat her, but he's been very emotionally abusive for years. It never gets physical, but he talks down to her, talks bad to her, uses harsh language. So it's like the wife that's been physically abused saying, he's just talking bad to you. That's not real abuse. Get over it. Just leave. I don't think that's fair. And I don't think that's fair that I am addicted to weed and not heroin, that I don't know true addiction. You can definitely be addicted to weed. As I stated, you can be addicted to anything. You can be addicted to water, to exercise, to shopping, to food. Anything in today's world, if you have an addictive personality, you can make it addictive. So something like weed, it can definitely be addictive. But to say because you, I guess, have got strung out on harder drugs, that makes you more of an expert on addiction. I can very well say that, I only have a weed addiction. Weed makes me laugh. I get the munchies. I go to sleep. It's like not a big deal. Now you who are on heroin, who you're strung out, your skin looks bad, your teeth is falling out, you're stealing from your mom. Why would you do that? Who would just, who would get addicted to something like that? I can very well say that, but that's not fair. Just because we're not on the same exact drug, don't mean we can knock each other's addiction. And I don't see that vice versa. I would never say that to somebody who's on hard drugs or alcohol. I do understand how they have fallen into addiction, and we have to stop putting weed on this level like, oh, it's just weed. And because people think it's just weed, is actually just as you can very well get even, I'd say, more addicted to that, because there's no stigmas and it's not as harsh as these drugs like heroin, crack, and even alcohol. So let's stop picking on people who have a weed addiction and tell them that, it's not a real addiction. You're not being fair. Then you're trumping their journey down to something minimal, and it's like, big deal. Like, grow the fuck up. Just because I'm not on crack doesn't mean I don't know about addiction. Yeah.